This is all I do now, is just paint things. And now for projects completely unrelated to outdoor 2x4 patio furniture. So for those of you who support the channel on Patreon, this bike, this is no surprise. You've known about this for like 2 weeks, maybe a month now. We've even discussed some of the history of what Concord is, because when I decided to buy this, I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. This could be a great foundation for a little project. While I've had it, I've been like trying to keep it like somewhat under wraps, but those of you who were watching this video where we were polishing that, I had it literally in the background while I was like running, and everyone was like asking about it, and I was like, oh no, everybody saw it. Now, the reason that I was keeping it kind of under wraps was because it did have this super chewed up, knurled, beat Truvative like Isis drive bottom bracket in it. I hadn't like tried anything with it. I hadn't even really looked at it. It just sort of was like guaranteed someone had thrown vice grips onto that and tried to get it out. And I know for a fact that it is stuck. And I will not start another video with another stuck part. And I didn't. I brought this out like an hour ago, and I just put like some vice grips on it, and it came right out. I think someone may have been tightening it on instead of loosening and not knowing the difference. After having like bought this sight unseen, unsure of how I was really gonna get it into my possession, I sort of became, understandably, more and more curious about like what's the history of Concord. You don't see them anymore, you don't hear of them, which was sort of my topic of discussion when I shared this with everybody on Patreon. I was like, hey, there's a bunch of like intelligent, retro-y, interested people on here. What do you guys know about this? And this is a very crude, quick, possibly like minusculely inaccurate description of the history of Concord Canadian bikes. So Valtech Canada, a Canadian distributor of like outdoor equipment bikes in general, they had the rights to Concord road bikes. Now, as the road bike market started to wean a little bit in the late 80s, early 90s, Concord was like, we need like a mountain bike, so let's just import some from Taiwan. And that's what they did. The first original ones, I guess, weren't that great. Now, there seems to be some relation between the Concord name and American Eagle. Concord American Eagle still exists and is owned by a company in Denmark. Doing this all by memory, might not be right. But I think the coolest piece of history for the Concord name is Valtech's exclusive rights of the early 90s for importing and selling Fat Chance bikes. They managed to convince Chris Chance to help with the design of the Team Chance Concord branded mountain bike. So there's bikes out there that are like segmented fork, Concord branded, Team Chance named, with some like Fat Chance image stuff all over it that is like not made in the United States and is not a Fat Chance bike. It's a bike that I guess Chris Chance is like not crazy about at all because it's not American made. It's very, very mass produced, but relatively obscure and only sold in Canada, along with all other Concords. So yeah, that's all I know. If you know anything else, please leave it in the comments. I would appreciate it. There's some talk of some Concords using Ritchey dropouts and other like Ritchey parts on it. This Kudu light does not have that. So I would say this is probably like not one of the highest end Concords. It uses Tanguay plain gauge tubing, so nothing like particularly you know, to write home about in the way of the chromo material that's used. Really, the coolest takeaway of this is you know, the fact that I think it was bought at Bicycles Plus in Bedford. Someone named Aaron probably used to race it. The Concord history is kind of neat. The fact that it's related to, in a way that Chris Chance doesn't like, to Fat Chance bicycles is kind of neat. And the fact that I was able to get a hold of it and get it here with the sponsor of this build. Yeah, sponsored build. Something that doesn't have to like directly come out of the Spindatt build account. Just Us Coffee Roasters. Fan of the channel. I'm a big fan of their coffee. I drink it every day. So if you remember that vlog where I was at the skate park and I like tried to use an AeroPress for the first time, Ryan, who works at Just Us, he sent that stuff over. Part of that was like, you know, we love the approach, the like taking down the barriers, getting rid of the intimidation that is taking on builds like this, riding bikes in general. It's like the same thing that we at Just Us try and do with coffee for new people getting into it or people who've been into coffee for a long time. So why don't we do something? Are you interested in like having us help out with a build? And I was like, yeah, totally. It's just that I'm at like a triple crossroads of the direction I want to go with it. I'm like, do I go like modern mountain bike parts, or like do I go drop bar again, or do we go like somewhat retro modified, you know, new parts where it counts, old parts where it's cool? I don't know. I want your help. I want you to help me make the decision of the direction I want to go with this. I personally, though I know that it's going to be like ridiculously expensive and really hard to find, I think it would be cool to try and make a Team Chance replica of this Concord to be like, yeah, it's not even a Team Chance and it's definitely not a Fat Chance. Like, I think that would be a fun direction to go. I also just kind of want to like, I want to get a hold of a segmented fork for a build at some point. This could be the one, but it's gonna be hard.